Hello and welcome again to Battle Ready. Thank you so much for watching. Today, Drake and I thought we would talk a little bit about our impressions from Warhammer Plus. I'm sure everybody knows, but if you don't know, Warhammer has launched its own streaming service, sort of like Disney Plus or Netflix or whatever, featuring Warhammer content. So obviously the library is not large yet. There's, if you're looking at trying to compare it to Netflix or Disney Plus or any of the big services,
It's sad.
yeah, there's not a lot there, but it does have some things,
Yes.
and it's not free. So what I thought we would do is talk about our impressions of it. No spoilers. We're not going to tell you how anything begins or ends or anything like that. But we'll just give you our thoughts about it, and from that you can decide whether or not it's something that makes sense for you and that you like. So first thing it has is animations. We'll talk about that in a second. Second thing it has is battle reports. Third is the Citadel Masterclass, which is all about painting. And then there's going to be some other things that come along in time. There's going to be more animations. There's going to be some lore videos. But they don't have any of those yet. So let's start with the big thing. I think the thing that's going to be the most interesting to most people, and that is the animations. So starting with, there's two of them. There's two series. One's called Hammer and Bolter, where each episode is sort of a little vignette. There's no ongoing story or characters. And the other one is Angels of Death. Is that what it's called? And that one is more of a traditional episodic story featuring continuous characters. All right, so let's talk about, which one do you want to talk about first? Angels of Death or Hammer and Bolter?
Hammer and Bolter.
Yeah, okay. So Hammer and Bolter, I think, is the better of the two. So, Drake, what are your thoughts on Hammer and Bolter? Were they good? Were they bad? Was it uneven?
They were amazing.
Amazing. Why do you say that? Without giving any spoilers on what actually happens in the episodes.
Just because how realistic it is.
What do you mean how realistic it is?
While being drawn, just how good it is.
Okay, and what makes it good?
It's high quality stuff. It never lags out or anything.
Okay. So that's true. One thing I should mention is I've seen some people online who have had negative things to say about Warhammer Plus and its rollout and technical errors and things like that. All I can say is I haven't experienced any of that. It was very simple to get a hold of. It was very simple to install. We watched it on the Roku on TV. So I don't know. I didn't have any issues with any of that. From my perspective, it worked as intended. But let's talk about the show itself. So again, no spoilers. We don't want to tell people, the endings, right? But what did you like? Why did you like the shows?
Mainly, I thought they really just they showed what Warhammer is like when you're actually playing it. Now, so far, there's only been 40K, but
yeah. So far, there's 3 of them that are 40K related. So one of them is a free episode if you want to see. It's actually, I think, my favorite of the 3. So if you want to go on Warhammer Community, I think it might still be up. I'm not sure.
No, I think it was only for 24 hours.
Oh, okay.
It
so
might not be up.
You may have seen it already. If not, then that's fine. But it's called Old Baelai, and it's an orc telling small orcs, not kids, but that aren't strong orcs yet, telling him the story of Old Baelai, who is one of Ghazghkull Thraka's
biggest enemies.
It's told from the perspective of the orcs. It's got some brilliant humor in it. It's got some really interesting things that go on. The show, all the Hammer and Bolter shows tend to be a little on the violent side. You do see people get blown up and filled with bullets and stuff like that. People definitely die in the series.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a recommendation of 15 plus on it. Drake, are you 15 yet?
No, I'm 9.
No, he's 9. That said, I didn't have any concerns about it. There's no bad language. There's no nudity. There's nothing, sexually provocative at all. And Drake is, it's cartoonish violence.
Yes.
So I wasn't super concerned about that. And it certainly, did you find it overly scary or horrifying or anything?
I found it very fun.
Very fun.
To be seeing people filled with bullets, honestly. It was very fun.
All right. Well, maybe that says more about my parenting style than anything else. But it wasn't a concern for me. My daughters are 6 and 5, although one will have a birthday in a couple weeks. But I wouldn't want them to watch it. Yeah. So there's a 3-year age gap there, and obviously you have to think about it for your own kids if your kids are interested in watching. But know that there is some pretty significant violence. It's not gory, it's not graphic in that way, but there is violence, and they don't really shy away from it. But anyway, Old Baelai is a great one because it's told from the perspective of the orcs. There's a lot of, the way the orcs talk is very interesting.
Honestly, I think that was one of my favorite parts, just how they nailed how the orcs talk.
Yeah, the orc manner of communication was pretty good. Old Baelai is built up as this almost mythic figure, but still very, realistic. I guess, plausible in the world of 40K, right? So, super fun, super duper fun, and they're all about 20 minutes.
Yeah,
they're not super long. The two that you may not have seen are Hand of Death. Is that what it's called? Death's Hand.
Yes, Death's Hand.
Death's Hand and Bound for Glory. Death's Hand.
I think it's Greatness. I think.
Bound for Greatness.
Yes, I think that's what it's called. I'm not sure.
Death's Hand's okay. It has a great fight scene.
Yes.
I mean, a really, really good fight scene. But it's okay. It's very 40K in the sense that the hero, the main character of the story, is not a nice guy. It's not a very good guy. It's someone that's a little bit hard to root for. And there's fights, and then it ends. It's fine. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing where I would say, oh, that was a bad episode or it was a waste of my time. It definitely wasn't. I'm glad I watched it. But it wasn't quite as good as Old Baelai, and it didn't quite have the humor. I think if you want to see a fighty episode, if you want to see animations of characters in combat, Death's Hand is probably going to be up your alley. What did you think of it?
I thought it was very cool how the guy was trying to
Well, okay.
Yes.
No spoilers.
How he was handling the problems, honestly.
By lighting them on fire?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I guess there's something to be said about the direct approach, but that's something that to be said should be that was bad. All right. The third one that's there, it's the second episode in the series, is Bound for Greatness.
Yes. It's either Glory or Greatness. I'm not sure.
But that one was pretty fun too. Again, it doesn't have the humor of Old Baelai, which I honestly was a little disappointed in because the humor stuff is so fun, and yes. I really liked it. But it was a great look at sort of the day-to-day life of a low-level Imperium adept. Really, really interesting. And the thing I liked most about it is over the course of and again, without giving anything away, but over the course of it, you get an idea that there's a chaos taint, that there's cultish influence here. And it's one of the things I thought was so interesting about it is you could sort of see how the crushing banality in which this guy lives, the main character lives, starts to get him interested in, things that are better left unsaid or unread. So overall, I thought it was a good little vignette into how chaos taint can infiltrate and spread. So I really liked that aspect of it. What did you think of it?
I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah, what'd you like?
Certain bits that I can't say.
Well, if there's... All right, well, can you say it without giving anything away?
Maybe.
Well, do your best.
I really liked how sneaky chaos can be.
Yep, very subtle in this episode. Now, all 3 episodes are 40K related.
So far, it's been all bolter, no hammer.
All bolter, no hammer.
We need some hammer in there.
We only play Age of Sigmar. That's what we like. Yeah. And to be perfectly honest, I know you have some interest in 40K.
Not too much though.
But I'm not super interested in it at all. I don't. I want wizards and dragons, not spaceships and guns.
I mean, at least there is some guns in EOS.
I guess that's true. There's
Caradron.
the Caradron and some of the cities of Sigmar.
Oh yeah.
But I like the fantasy theme. That's really what I want to be out there doing, is living in that high fantasy life. The sci-fi stuff is cool. You know, I'm not against sci-fi. It's just not my preference. And given the cost associated with Warhammer games, I'm going to stick with one, and it's going to be Age of Sigmar. Nevertheless, all three of those were pretty good. I enjoyed. I know almost nothing about 40K lore. I know that there are Space Marines.
Yes.
And that they shoot things.
Yes. That's
and
basically.
There's something called a Primarch. I mean, really, I know almost very, very little, and still, I felt like I got a lot out of all three of Hammer and Bolter episodes. Were still very interesting to watch. Really, I'm sure there were references that I missed. I'm sure there were, they referenced a particular order or a particular Adeptos, Custodes, Astartes. I don't know what those words mean. But I mean, I'm sure that there were references in there that I missed. But overall, I got a lot out of the videos. They were great. Now let's turn to Angels of Death. What do you think of Angels of Death?
Since we only saw, there's only one episode.
There's only one episode so far.
I can't really say anything because I don't really know.
Well, what do you think of the one episode?
It was very interesting. I can't say too much because I don't really have enough stuff, because it was just the introduction to everything.
Okay. Well, I think I could say that I really liked the visuals of it. Super well animated, and I like the black and white but with red accents. I thought that was pretty cool. Visually, it's very appealing. That one, I mean, I guess I'll say I sort of understand what's going on. I get that there's a person in trouble and they're trying to decide what to do about it. I get that. But unlike the Hammer and Bolter episodes, they constantly are talking about 40K stuff. They're talking about different chapters. They're talking about their gene sequences so they can, I guess, make more Blood Angels. They're just constantly referencing things that, having no knowledge of 40K,
we can't really understand.
Are going over my head for sure. I guess I can sort of piece together the thrust. I mean, I get why certain things are important, or I should say, I guess that certain things are important. But the whole context of it, it's not all there for me. So I liked it. I still watched it. I'll watch the next one when it comes out. But it's also a little bit darker. It's a little bit more dour. I don't know. I'm not as enthralled with that one. I'm super looking forward to Hammer and Bolter. I'll watch at least one more episode of Angels of Death to see how it goes.
That's actually the thing I didn't like about Angels of Death. It's only black and white.
You didn't like the black and white aesthetic of it?
No.
I thought it was sort of cool.
Because it just means it's basically we have such high tech stuff, and they still make it ancient animation, just more high tech.
Ancient animation. Well, it's definitely a stylistic choice. They wanted it to look that way. I think it's sort of cool. You've never seen this, but there was a movie some time ago, unfortunately, called Sin City, that based on a graphic novel that adopted that same sort of aesthetic where most things were in black and white, but then there were some things they highlighted in either a red or sometimes a yellow, and it was just to make it visually look a little bit different than your standard cartoon or whatever. So it was pretty cool. All right, let's talk about the battle report and the masterclass, because we can hit each of those pretty quick. For the battle reports, we didn't watch the 40K one, unless you do.
No.
Okay, because I'm not super interested in 40K.
The only thing I want to do with 40K is with Kill Team being updated. I just want to get a minimum of 4 Kill Team.
You want 4 kill teams?
No, at minimum you can have 4 models in a Kill Team.
Oh, okay. So you want to get a kill team?
Yes.
Well, maybe we'll do that.
Especially with the new Orc Commandos.
So, I think they get up to 10.
Oh, yeah.
models, yeah. But anyway, the battle report was fine. It was a little over 1,000 points of Stormcast and Cruel Boys.
Dominion only.
Dominion only. And it was interesting because there was only one battle line on the Cruel Boys side, and they did some things different. For example, at least as I read the rules, and I could be totally wrong. It wouldn't be the
Yes.
first time I've got... Don't say yes. Wouldn't be the first time I got a rule wrong. But the way the rule reads to me, when a Stormcast Eternal explodes, you roll however many wounds they have, or one more if they're Thunderstrike. So if they had 2 wounds, you'd roll 3 for a Thunderstrike. And all 6s do mortals.
Mm-hmm.
The way they were doing it was they were rolling just the wounds and making 5s and 6s mortals. So I wonder if that's a change in the Stormcast battle tone.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing we got to see is the Auric guy had a command trait where he could throw spikes on the ground.
Yeah.
And then they would do mortals to somebody charging in, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a command trait where he could run and charge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not run and charge, retreat and charge.
Yes.
So that was sort of cool. So we got little tidbits, little insights into what those books might look like when they drop next month, allegedly. So that was sort of cool. But I don't know. They did a little bit of editing to make it short, which is not a bad thing. I mean, we definitely could make ours shorter.
Yes.
But instead of showing all the different battles, they sort of highlighted a couple and then did little mini interviews where the person talked about what they were trying to do. It was okay. All right, fine. I would watch another one probably, but it was okay. It was cool. And then the last one was the Citadel Masterclass. Right now they have 2. They have one on painting faces and one on wet blending. We watched the one on painting faces.
Yes.
What'd you think of that?
I wasn't as into it as much because one, I have none of the paints they use.
We have some of them.
Yes.
But go ahead.
And 2, I want to paint my faces my own way. I don't want people telling me how to paint my faces.
Well, you certainly can paint your faces your own way. That's for sure. But
I'm not like people telling me
I
how to paint my
was
faces.
super impressed with how they did the faces. And the thing that they showed was they didn't really... I mean, I guess they put a base coat on at the very beginning.
Yes.
But that was it.
Yes.
That was one actual layer of paint, and then everything else was glaze, 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 glaze. And that reinforced 2 things to me. First, all of it seemed like something that wasn't impossible. I didn't look at it and say, "Oh, this is, completely out of my realm. I'll never be able to." Could I do it right now? No. The answer is no. I'm not that good. But maybe if I really wanted to, if I thought, okay, I'm gonna try to paint this way and get these super smooth blends and how they have things together, maybe. But I was also convinced in watching it that the amount of time it took was so much more than I'm willing to put into a whole model, let alone the face of a model. The video itself is about 20 minutes, and they're cutting it out. So she's just, she does a little bit, and then a little bit. And so to paint that face, the one face probably took her, a couple hours at least, minimum. And I'm just, we're called battle ready. Mm-hmm. That's what I want on the tabletop. I want things that look good when from a distance when they're on there. I'm not looking to win any golden demons or crystal brushes or anything like that.
Although I am.
Yeah, one day Drake will. He's decided. But
I must.
It was still really cool, and it was really interesting to see the technique. And what I said before about feeling like, maybe that's something I could do. I wonder if that's because of the teaching of it. Mm-hmm. If she had been a poor teacher, I might have decided, oh yeah, this is well outside my wheelhouse. I'm never going to be able to do this. But because she was a good teacher and really interesting, it made me feel like I could do it. And, maybe I can't, but at least it was that kind of positive teaching experience and breaking it down into real small bite-sized steps that made me feel like, oh, okay, this isn't impossible. So that was great to see too. Now in the future, there's going to be Lore Master. There's going to be some other stuff coming.
I did actually do half on the Lore Master quiz.
Oh yeah, Drake took the Lore Master quiz and did way better than I did.
Yes.
But I mean, I would watch that when it comes out, probably. I think that'll be interesting. But as it stands right now, that's sort of what you get. Oh, I guess you also get the access to the 40K app, which we don't play 40K, so who cares?
Yeah. But don't we also get access to the AOS app?
When it comes out. So right now,
We don't,
bam,
we don't have it.
it's nothing. But eventually,
I'll be excited.
assuming, and I hope that that app will be good. But that's where it is. So hopefully with that in mind, you can think about it. That'll give you a better sense of whether the Warhammer Plus is right for you and whether that's something you want. You know, it also gives you the vaults. We've looked at a couple of old White Dwarfs. We've looked at a couple of...
I don't remember looking at no White Dwarfs.
Yeah, I told you about the troll. I mean, I looked at them, but you're going to see the troll one, right?
Yeah.
And so there's stuff there that's cool, but from my perspective, that's a little bit of bonus. That's sort of neat if you're already interested in.
Yes.
If it was just White Dwarfs and vault stuff, and I don't know that that's enough to make it interesting.
Yeah.
But hopefully now you have some idea of how the animations are and whether it's for you. Like I said, even though they're all 40K animations, at least on the Hammer and Bolter side, I had a blast with them. I thought they were really, really fun. You know, Angels of Death it's okay. One episode in, maybe it'll get better and better from here. A lot of shows are sort of like that. And we'll see where it goes. But for now, I'm pretty happy with Warhammer Plus, and I hope it continues to get better. Any final thoughts, Drake?
Wow.
Wow. All right. Thank you for watching. This has been Battle Ready.